Hello ladies and gentlemen and TV show lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video I have a brand new episode review for you all. And I am going to be reviewing Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 2, which consists of episodes 8 and 9. So yeah, after a very long 3-year wait, we finally have all of Stranger Things Season 4. And now that it's officially concluded, I'm just worried about how long we're gonna have to wait for that 5th and final season. Now this is just the first of a few videos that I have planned to celebrate the conclusion of this season. As I mentioned at the very start of the video, I am going to be simply covering episodes 8 and 9 today. But I have lots more planned, like an episode ranking and season review where I will give a final score for the entire season, as well as a seasonal ranking where I will rank all 4 seasons of Stranger Things, as well as I'm considering doing a spoiler thoughts video where I pretty much just ramble on about season 4, all of my favorite things, and the things I didn't like so much. I'm pretty much just gonna sit here and ramble for a while about all of season 4. Now seems like a perfect time to issue that major spoiler warning. If you have not seen episodes 8 and 9 of Stranger Things Season 4, or any of Season 4 for that matter, there will be major spoilers in this video, so you have been warned. Before we hop into the actual review itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my series-based reviews, so be sure to check that out and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so without further ado, let's hop right into things. The first thing up on my positives list for these final 2 episodes, because I'll just be reviewing them together, is that these final 2 episodes managed to hit all of the emotional moments so well. Everything to do with Lucas and Max, when Max offers herself up to Vecna as bait. Of course, Eddie's tragic death, which broke me inside. And even another really special moment that I found anyway, like Dustin telling Eddie's uncle that Eddie was a hero. Those are just a few examples of the many emotional beats that they completely nailed in these final 2 episodes. There was way more than once where I was either biting on my nails or shivering. I was filled with so much anxiety, or I had tears welling up in my eyes. I don't think I ever remember just like bawling like I have before, but there was definitely a few times where that single tear would trickle down because there is some heavy duty stuff in here. For my next positive, I just had a few MVPs of these final 2 episodes, really the season as a whole, that I wanted to highlight. Eddie, Max, Argyle, and Dimitri, I found them all to be scene stealers throughout these last 2 episodes. Not only did they give stellar performances, but they had by far some of the best character moments. Don't get me wrong, the usual suspects also had standout moments for sure, like Dustin, like Will, like Eleven of course, and Hopper and Joyce and all of the rest. Like I said, they are the usual suspects that have gotten the spotlight from the beginning of the show. But most of these characters, except for Max of course, who was introduced in season 2, really shocked and surprised and wowed me with just how much I loved them and how many awesome moments they got. But Max really took center stage with a lot of this season and these final 2 episodes in particular, and it really worked. I also have to mention that I still have a major soft spot for Murray. Even though he didn't get as much of the spotlight as he did in the first 7 episodes, I still love the guy and think he's hilarious and will always advocate for Murray for MVP. Speaking of standout moments that I just mentioned, I want to highlight a few of those standout moments as well that really blew my socks off. And again, some of these are really emotional moments that touched me or broke me. Some of them are moments that had me screaming and cheering. And some of them had moments that I was almost too terrified to watch the screen. I was so stressed out. Moments like Will's speech to Mike about Mike being the heart of the group when they're in the back of the van. Eleven saving the day, having her big triumphant returning moment, you know, when Mike's screaming at her like, I love you, you can do this, you're my superhero. And then the big comeback moment where she just starts kicking ass. When the military attacks the secret lab with Brenner's death, of course, involved, and then Eleven just blowing up a helicopter. This just giant explosion. Again, super badass Eleven moment. And then Hopper versus the Demogorgon in just pure epic slow motion. I freaking love that. That was one of the moments where I was just screaming. Anyone that has gone up against a Demogorgon, for the most part, except for like Eleven, like there have been entire military firing squads trying to take these things down and it doesn't work. Hopper goes after one with a sword and it was so cool. The next positive is Vecna. Yeah, Vecna Henry 1 gets his own positive. Like I mentioned in my last review for episodes 1 to 7, he really is just a cross between Freddy Krueger and Pennywise, but it's like the perfect pairing, a match made in heaven of characters. Because it has given me likely one of my all-time favorite villains in general. He is menacing, he is evil, cruel, vile. I also enjoyed that we got deeper into his backstory. Like we saw at the end of episode 7, Eleven sent him to the Upside Down, but now we see that he's really like the creator of the Upside Down and the world as he got to explore it, which I will touch on shortly, the world of the Upside Down before it was like the Upside Down. And for my next positive, I just wanted to give some love to the soundtrack. Now, 80s nostalgia has been running wild for like the last 7 years, 10 years. It's been running wild for the last little while, and a lot of it is thanks to this show. So obviously throughout these 4 seasons, there has been a ton of 80s music. And this season in particular had me on my feet dancing and vibing with the soundtrack. We had a little bit of Journey mixed in there. Of course, Kate Bush's song has absolutely blown up, but arguably my favorite moment of the entire series as a whole, not just these last 2 episodes, not just this season, but the series, is Eddie Munson on top of a trailer in the Upside Down, jamming out to Master of Puppets. I am a huge metalhead. Metallica is one of my all-time favorites. I grew up listening to and loving Metallica, so hearing Master of Puppets make an appearance in that context, throughout that scene, and it was intercut with a few other scenes, and it was just purely and simply badass. It was insane, and I loved it. I also wanted to say that the visuals this season have been absolutely stunning. We heard ahead of time going into this season that the budget was massive, and they really did put it to good use. From getting to explore the Upside Down itself more than ever, to Hawkins being torn apart, to Vecna's backstory and seeing the world there, all of it was simply breathtaking. Another major point that this season gets is a lot of the relationship shifting. It was also something I mentioned in my review for episodes 1 to 7 that the relationships were very much so on the move. We had everything to do with Mike and Eleven, how they were on the rocks and where they ended up. We had Max and Lucas, who also had broken up, and then we see where they go by the end of the season, where Lucas very much so still has feelings for her, and it appears that she has feelings for him. But then of course we know how things turn out for Max with, all the bone cracking and stuff in her eyes going and whatnot. And then of course we had the love triangle going on between Jonathan, Nancy, and Steve. And it also seems like Robin is finally making her move, and Joyce and Hopper have made things official. And I just love that about that season. These characters have grown and blossomed together, and relationships have formed, they have been torn apart, they have been strained, and I just loved the exploration of all of that throughout this season, alongside all of the crazy major things that were going on. My second to last positive is something that just made my heart happy, and that was everyone reuniting. Joyce and Hopper reuniting, Mike and Eleven reuniting, and then of course, yes, everyone coming together at the end. Like Eleven and Hopper in particular was really tugging on the heartstrings. But yeah, the reuniting stuff just really got me. And my final positive for these last 2 episodes of season 4 is the ending. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I actually am a bit apprehensive of what has unfolded at the end of the season. I mean, the entirety of Hawkins has been ripped open, and it is just a giant portal to the Upside Down, and then as we saw at the end, started clouding over, ash started falling, and I'm wondering if they have gone too big, because it's one of those things where they just can't come back from. You can't just do a time jump and be like, oh yeah, we figured it all out, blah blah blah, because we did hear that there is going to be a time jump for the next season to compensate for the actors aging, and I'm just really worried and wondering, like, are we gonna have a full-blown global scale Upside Down has taken over our world? Is it just essentially going to turn into a giant superhero movie? Like, are we going to lose the heart of what made this show so special, which is that core group? Because this just seems like it's so much bigger than them now. So I am a bit apprehensive, but did I also love it? Yeah. Vecna tore open Hawkins from 4 different streams, whatever the hell you want to call it, and now Hawkins is a giant portal to the Upside Down, and it seems like the Upside Down is merging with our world. How could I not love that and think it's insanely awesome? Oh, not to mention, I'm sorry, but Jason's death was oh so satisfying. Props to the actor for making me hate the character so much, because I didn't hate the character because he was annoying. I hated the character because he was a douchebag. And, like, props to the actor for, like, that was his job, and he did his job well. And he was beating the shit out of Lucas. Lucas fired back, knocked him out, and then he just disintegrated when the Upside Down opened, and it was just super satisfying, in my opinion, because he was a psychopath. And now for the negatives, and really I only actually have one negative and I can just get right to it, and that is the same negative, or one of the same negatives that I had with the first volume of episodes 1 to 7, and that's just these episodes are way too damn long. Like 2 hours and 20 minutes for a finale, like maybe as a series finale at the end of season 5, okay, but all of these episodes averaged out to be about an hour and 20 or so minutes long, which is about 20 minutes longer than the regular episode, and then his finale was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and there definitely was some bloat in there. And here's the thing, if it was 4 episodes, it's not as bad, honestly, because some people say like, oh, it's the same amount of content. You're absolutely right, but it's, you know, it's broken up a bit more nicely when there's episodes. You can say, oh, I'm on episode 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, but a 2.5 hour episode is way too long, and the hour and 21s too, like, it was a lot, okay? I would have rather have like a 13, 14, 15 episode season that just was all hour-long episodes that had the same content, just broken up ever so slightly, because those breaks are nice, rather than a giant 2.5 hour finale and every other episode being an hour and 20 minutes. I'm sorry, okay? I get that it's the same amount of content, but it's just easier to binge and a little bit more satisfying, and there's also like breaks in there so you can feel like you can breathe and go get a bite to eat or go out and do your running around and stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. These episodes were just too damn long, folks. At the end of the day, though, they crammed a lot into these final 2 episodes, again, because it was 4 hours worth of content. And for the most part, I loved absolutely all of it. Was the ending absolutely crazy? 100%, but it might have been a bit too big, you know, for their own good, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not 3 years for the 5th and final season. But aside from the episode length, I really don't have much bad to say at all about these final 2 episodes. And so I'm going to be giving Stranger Things 4 Volume 2, which is episodes 8 and 9, a 9.5 out of 10. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my review. While you're at it, feel free to let me know what you would have scored the final 2 episodes of Stranger Things Season 4 out of 10. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon, that way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.